Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 Podcast. It's a podcast where we take business owners, CEOs, marketing directors, whoever else I feel like, for questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob. And here we go. Question number one in a couple sentences. Tell me who you are and what do you do?
I studied in Germany. My name is Martin Hubert, and I came to the US for an internship in New York after completing my master's degree in computer science and business. After returning to Germany, I applied for jobs, received a call from the president and say, hey, Martin, we need you here. I sent you a ticket. Let's discuss the details. Needless to say, I worked as director IT at the freight company for 2 years, then moved to a freight company in California. And then back in '94, we created the first internet-based track and trace visibility solution driven by the need for not having to buy more modems and phone lines. And then after that, I started the first shared internet-based visibility solution under the name iTrack for the journey and the internet by EDI Ideas DBA Uptime. And that now became Freightgate, which we now offer the most comprehensive logistics cloud solutions on the planet, helping companies all over the world improving their logistics.
Perfect. So, hey, we got 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. Question number two, Martin, what advice do you want to share? Go.
Well, capacity is constrained. We basically have planes full, shipping charges at an all-time high. Frankly, it's a perfect storm. Causing everybody in logistics and supply chain having massive headaches and migraines. So carriers are trying to find new, different ways of differentiating themselves. They offer new services that potentially are great alternatives. The Freightgate team has work coming up with refining technology stacks that help customers do like dynamic 5-leg rating and routing that helps our customers with a single query optimize multiple dimensions of their logistics. And we basically encourage everybody to create a mesh of rates. So if you, for example, take the shipment from Shanghai to Los Angeles, to Dallas, let's say Dallas.
Right.
And that's a great example, right? Because, I mean, traditionally you would negotiate 5 door-to-door rates with the various carriers, potentially have some freight forwarders in that mix, and then basically go ship against that. Now, we recommend go get port-to-port rates, so Shanghai to LA. Get intermodal rates so you can move the cargo, add port-to-port rates to Oakland, to Seattle, and maybe something to the Gulf Coast like Houston. Use the common naming convention like UN location codes. If those are not sufficient, use the country code plus the postal code and build a mesh of alternatives. If you do the math, you will see that instead of your 5 solutions, you now have like 5 times 2 times 20 times 4 times 5, like 4,000 different routing alternatives to get your cargo where you need it to be. Doing so basically has exponentially, orders of magnitude, improved your ability to react to congestions like in LA. If you want to take it a step further, you could basically add a level of automation, taking availability signals and apply that same concept to dispatching your drayage. So having 5 different dray carriers, cheapest one gets first pick and so forth. If they don't take it, you give it to the second guy. If you take a data feed for demurrage and detention, you can make sure you optimize your free times and avoid penalties to make sure your supply chain runs smoothly. So that helps you, of course, avoid a lot of the headaches a lot of people have now. There are some other really easy tricks you can implement. Like if you're shipping less than a container load, still check, hey, maybe shipping half an empty FCL container is cheaper and faster than shipping LCL cargo.
Awesome.
Or taking
well,
one
actually,
of those.
Hey, Martin, I need to cut you off because we only have 3 minutes and 14 seconds left. If people want to know more, they can go look you up. So question number 3, it is time for shout outs and who you shouting out.
Okay, then. So I would like to stick with logistics. Kanaka Omi at Thaive, they manufacture the IoT devices that we use for our multi-layered visibility. Diana Boma at Platinum Cargo, she created a very thriving freight forwarding organization from scratch. And Josh Brown, he's our second customer ever and a very solid domestic carrier for white glove divisions.
Love it there. Question number 4, final fun question. Martin, tell me about your first sale.
The first sale was Alliance International, Frank Delatorre, their SVP International. He shared my vision with internet tracking and tracing, that's the way of the future and that our approach was very visionary. Frank unfortunately passed away earlier this year due to complications of COVID. So I wanted to pay tribute to the friendship and mutual respect that has developed out of that business relationship for decades. Second customer was Josh, American West. And I think the team deserves a shout out for being able to engage and create value for our customers for decades.
Absolutely there. So, hey, you've got 1 minute and 50 seconds left. You can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather, whatever you want, or we can end early. Go for it.
Well, I would like to basically encourage everybody to do their homework and make sure they create a more resilient supply chain and come out of this pandemic stronger. There are lots of opportunities and not all of them are all that expensive or complicated. Just adding a couple of lanes to your RFP, super helpful and will give you a lot of choices as I tried to explain earlier. So that's really, I think, one of the things that is a big takeaway. Contract season is in full swing, but a lot of people have not closed their contracts. It started a little late this year because of the pandemic. So I think the opportunity window is there. So if we can get the word out in a timely fashion, help yourself. And if you want to leverage technology, that gives you dynamic routing and instant compare between different modes, definitely check us out. You will like what you see.
Love it there. You pulled it off, Martin. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Martin, why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
Well, 808 looks like Bob.
It does. Hey, your website, say it real quick.
Freightgate.net.
It's in the description. It's magic. So Martin, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you so much, Bob, for having me. Looking forward to seeing it posted somewhere out there on the big World Wide Web.
Absolutely. We'll let you know what it is there. And for everyone else watching or listening, I'm legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you to do. You all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.